Naruto, God-level system author, Blue Water God. Chapter 46 Tensei I Puppet. Sarutobi, that Hiyazaki definitely has bad intentions, it's best to monitor it, and leave this matter to my roots. Danzo found Sarutobi Hizun. Danzo also had his own ideas. He wanted to indirectly control Kushina through Hiyazaki. Danzo never gave up on Juwai's ideas. Sarutobi Hizun glanced at him. He knew this old friend better than anyone else. Hyuga Tatsu is a member of the Hyuga family, and this incident can easily lead to internal conflicts within Konoha, so let's stop here. Danzo said unwillingly. He doesn't even have a blank eye, and I think the Hyuga family shouldn't care about him. Sarutobi Hizun took a cigarette and said lightly, no need, I have decided to make Tomoko use Uzumaki a human pillar force. What? Danzo's eyes widened, but he didn't expect that Sarutobi Hizun had already made a decision. After a long time, he saw that Sarutobi Hizun didn't change his mind, so Danzo could only leave unwillingly. Alas, Sarutobi Hizun sighed. In terms of talent, Kushina is the best choice, but Kushina's character Sarutobi Hizun has also been understood these days. Compared with the gentle and shy Tomoko Uzumaki, it is simply two extremes. In addition to this incident, he finally chose Tomoko Uzumaki. In his opinion, Uzumaki Tomoko is easier to control, while Kushina's personality is too detached to control. Even though Kushina's talent was better, it was abandoned by Hiruzen Sarutobi. What he wanted was a human column force under his control, not a human column force out of control. However, Sarutobi Hizun still dispatched Anbu to monitor Hyuga Tatsu, Uzumaki Kushina, and even the Hyuga family to see if the Hyuga family had any thoughts on the Nine Tails. After Danzang returned, he lost his temper and broke several sets of teacups. Sarutobi, I won't give up. Danzo roared fiercely. The fact that Kushina moved to Hiyazaki house was also known to the classmates, and the precocious male classmate looked at Hiyazaki with envious eyes. Although there is no monogamy in Hokage, most people are monogamous. Hiyazaki is less than 6 years old now, and he already has 2 girlfriends, making their envious and jealous faces contorted. Those envious and jealous eyes, Hiyazaki readily accepted, and looked at these defeated dogs with the attitude of a winner in life. Your eyes make me very uncomfortable. If I can, I really want to punch you. Shengshu squeezed his fist. The howl of a lost dog? A single dog like you can't understand a winner in life like me. Life is like me tilde. When you were still crawling slowly, I was already standing at the top looking down at all beings. You hateful guy, I think you are even more disgusting than Ken Uchiha with eyes on the top of his head. Seeing Hiyazaki, who was pretending to be incessant, Roshu became more and more unhappy. Ignorance, superficial. I'm just stating a fact. Do you think I'm pretending to be incompetent? Hiyazaki folded his arms and his tone was flat. Isn't it just having 2 girlfriends? What's amazing? I will definitely have 100 times more girlfriends than you in the future, and I will envy you to death. Hiyazaki looked at Nawaki in astonishment and patted his shoulder. Can you bear it with your small body? Thousand-handed Nawaki, Hiyazaki, you two return to my position. Wainoshiri walked in and roared. Today we will talk about the history of Konoha, which is made by, in the entire class, except for Hyuga Tatsuya, including Naruto Kahiza listened with relish. However, Hiyazaki feels very boring. This history has been changed at all. There is nothing about Uchiha Madara in the whole article. It is all about the Big Pillar, the second Hokage and the current third Hokage. Madara Uchiha was also mentioned later, but it was also mentioned in one stroke, still in the image of the villain, although he was originally a villain. Such an act of revising history is definitely not the work of Senju Hasuma. It should have been done by Senju Tobirama or Shimura Danzo. With Senju Tobirama's hatred for Uchiha, it's not impossible to do such a thing. Just like before, I spent a day at school again, except for Kushina when I went to school and after school. The school life hasn't changed much, and it's still a bit boring. On the way back, Hiyazaki expression changed, and then he took Mikoto and Kushina to deliberately walk towards the dark path. After walking to a quiet and dark path that no one passed by, Hiyazaki expression became cold. Get out! Mikoto and Kushina were stunned for a moment, and then they heard footsteps behind, a ninja wearing a dog face mask, walking over. Mikoto and Kushina were a little nervous, and subconsciously moved closer to Hiyazaki. Hiyazaki, Danzo-sama has a request. An emotionless voice reached Hiyazaki ears. Hearing Danzang's name, Hiyazaki expression became even colder. He didn't like Danzang at all. He kept saying that it was for Konoha, putting himself on the moral high ground, but he didn't do anything all day. A typical still wanted a chastity arch. Anyway, there is absolutely nothing good for this guy in Danzo to find him. In this case, Hiyazaki doesn't mind finding him something to do. The next thing may be bloody. If you are not comfortable, close your eyes. Hiyazaki reminded Mikoto and Kushina. It seems that you refused, so I can only use force. The root ninja, with 3 glue appearing in his eyes, looked at Hiyazaki coldly. Sharingan? People from the Uchiha family? Hiyazaki was stunned, but he didn't expect that there were also people from the Uchiha family at the root, and then Hiyazaki smiled. Alright, This is exactly what I want. Tensei puppet control. The route ninja of the Uchiha family was controlled by Hiyazaki in an instant. Whether it becomes a puppet controlled by Hiyazaki, or a puppet with self-awareness, spiritual will and actions are controlled by Hiyazaki. In fact, this is no different from Bbook. The disadvantage is that it can only be used on people whose strength is weaker than himself. In fact, Bbook is also the same. Dug out your own eyes, Hiyazaki said coldly. The puppet froze for a moment, and then dug out his eyes without hesitation. Hiyazaki nodded, then took out 2 of Uchiha Kaito's writing wheels and threw them to the puppet. Put those eyes on and attack Tsunade. Then put the blame on Denzo or Uchiha. Yes, the eye change in Hokage is not too difficult. But the premise is to have medical ninjutsu. But this guy does not know medical ninjutsu. Fortunately, Hiyazaki learned from Tsunade. Although he is not too proficient, it is still possible to help people change their eyes. However, when he replaced him with a kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, Hiyazaki felt that he had made a mistake, and this guy also had the strength of Joinin. Just put on a kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, and with the blessing of the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, the chakra has been strengthened, and it is the strength of the elite Joinin. Counting the ability of the kaleidoscope to write round eyes, at most it is a short burst of shadow level strength, which is really not enough to see in Konoha. It is estimated that if you persist for a while, you will be taken by the Konoha crowd. Isn't this sending a kaleidoscope to others? Hiyazaki is confused. This guy seems to be a bit of a waste. Should he be let go? Chapter 47 Attack on Sarutobi Hiyazaki. If you go, this guy will die. This is no fluke. If not go. Hiyazaki efforts were in vain, and the most important thing was that Hiyazaki wanted to find some trouble for Danzo. Danzo had noticed him, and no matter what the reason, Hiyazaki still wanted to distract him. Although Hiyazaki is strong now, he has not reached the level of the invincible ninja world. He doesn't want to have a conflict with Danzo now, which is not good for him. Isn't it just a pair of kaleidoscope writing wheels? Anyway, it is of no use to me, so if I don't have it, it will be gone. Hiyazaki was relieved, and he did not take a pair of kaleidoscope writing wheels in his eyes. Chen, what are you thinking? Mikoto gently pulled Chen. Oh. It's nothing, let's go. Then what about this guy? Kushina pointed at the puppet. When Hiyazaki ordered this guy to gouge out his eyes just now, the scene scared Kushina. I have my own arrangements, you don't have to worry about it. Hiyazaki took Mikoto in one hand and Kushina in the other. Mikoto and Kushina, although we are still young, since we have chosen to become ninjas, we must adapt. For ninjas, killing is inevitable. Hiyazaki said to the 2 daughters. Yeah, I know that. Kushina nodded. In fact, she had already experienced even more cruel things. When the kingdom of Vortex fell, countless clansmen died in front of her eyes, which was hundreds of times more than before. Mikoto smiled gently. She did feel a little uncomfortable just now, but after Hiyazaki held her hand, her heart calmed down. Returning home with the 2 daughters, Mikoto was cooking, and Kushina also followed to help. But it was said to be helping, but in fact Kushina, who didn't know how to cook, was making trouble. Hiyazaki returned to his room, and then used Tensei eyes to check Uchiha's every move. As long as Uchiha saw the scene, as long as Hiyazaki thought about it, he could also see it simultaneously, similar to Pen's 6 paths. Uchiha is the puppet at the route controlled by Hiyazaki, which Hiyazaki knew by investigating his memory. When he left, Hiyazaki gave him an order to refine chakra with all his strength at all costs. Anyway, it is a chess piece, and it is a chess piece that is about to be abandoned, so it is natural to maximize his use value. No matter how bad it is, he has to divert the eyes of the senior executives of Konoha, before reaching the shadow level. Hiyazaki didn't want to be too much attention. In the past few days, he has clearly noticed that there are people from Anbu monitoring him and Kushina. Although Hiyazaki is very upset, he can only bear it. It may not be a big deal to kill a Uchiha family member in the village, but the Anbu people must not move. Even if you really want to move them, you must have an alibi, or someone will take the blame. Hiyazaki planned to let Uchiha forcibly extract chakra at the cost of overdrafting his life, and then go to assassinate the 3 generations of Hokage, and then put the blame on Danzo or the Uchiha family. And there is still a lot of trouble. It is best to make the whole Konoha disturbed, and no one will have the time to pay attention to them. As for what will happen to Danzo and Uchiha in the end, what does Hiyazaki say it has to do with me? 5 consecutive days have passed, and Uchiha's chakra volume has now reached the quasi-shadow. This is also the limit. If you want to improve, I don't know how long it will take. And Hiyazaki couldn't wait. Those Anbu outside were really annoying. As long as he and Kushina went out of Hiyazki's house, they would be watched. What's more, Uchiha can no longer improve his strength, and the side effect of forcibly improving chakra is very large. His cell life energy is now dry, and his lifespan is less than a year. If you forcibly refine chakra again, you will definitely burp. Tonight is the night of the full moon, and the bright moonlight falls on Konoha village, making the dark night a little brighter. The Hokage building was extremely bright. It was already 12 o'clock in the evening, and Hiruzen Sarutobi was still working in the Hokage office. This was the hard work of being a Hokage. Sarutobi Hizen was holding a document and was watching the review. At this moment, the door of Hokage's office opened. A man dressed in anbu with his head bowed came in. Huh? Who are you? Why haven't I seen you? Hiruzen Sarutobi frowned, looking at the member of the anbu. The one who killed you. Raising his head, his scarlet eyes stared straight at Hiruzen Sarutobi, full of killing intent and tyranny, and 3 black ghosts swirled in his eyes. On the order of Lord Tuanzang, I have come to take your dog's life, and die. Fire escape, the technique of dragon fire. Sarutobi Hizen's face sank, his hands were sealed, and he blocked the fire dragon that rushed towards him with the earth flow wall. And Anbu, who was secretly protecting Sarutobi Hizen, also reacted and instantly appeared around Uchiha, surrounding him in the middle. Who the are you? Sarutobi Hizen's face was extremely gloomy. Although the other party said that he was here under the order of Danzo, he would not believe the information given by an enemy, and the other party also had a wheel eye. Or Sarutobi Hizen didn't want to believe it. Humphrey, dead people don't need so much nonsense. Kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. Open. Uchiha's writing wheel spun rapidly and turned into the shape of a wind demon shuriken. The evil atmosphere enveloped the entire building, and some Anbu ninjas were shocked, and the kunai in their hands fell to the ground. This is a kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, and you actually turned on the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. This time Sarutobi Hizen was really shocked. He almost grew up listening to the legend of the kaleidoscope writing wheel, and he has also seen the powerful and unparalleled Uchiha Madara, and knows how powerful the kaleidoscope writing wheel is. Go all out to take him down. Sarutobi Hizen shouted, and then used the B-rank fire escape great flame bullet. The others set off one after another. Kunai and shuriken were also mixed with detonating talismans, and they threw them towards Uchiha together. According to normal circumstances, Uchiha might really be cold, but if he has a kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, if he hangs up so easily, it would be an insult to the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. A yellow arm appeared, blocking all attacks, and Uchiha was safe and sound. This is Suzu's initial state. Although the defense is not too strong, it is enough to resist most ninjutsu attacks. As Uchiha's chakra was consumed, the skeleton formed by chakra covered him, and the skeleton quickly grew blood and meridians, and finally put on the Wuten-U armor and grew into a third form. The huge Suzu was 30 meters long, as huge as a hill. The Hokage building had been shattered, and Sarutobi Hizen was blasted out. The powerful and evil chakra shocked the entire Konoha village. Countless ninjas woke up from their sleep and looked at the huge and desperate Suzu. What is going on? Did someone attack Konoha? It seems to be in the direction of the Hokage building. Hurry up and take a look. Lord Hokage, don't have any trouble. Countless ninjas rushed towards the Naruto building. Chapter 48 ends. Sarutobi, what's going on? Old man, are you okay? The 2 advisors, Mito Menyon and Koharu, Okimaru, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Anbu Minister Hatake Tsukumo, the patriarchs of the major families, all rushed here, looking at the tall Suzu. It's all right, this is Suzu, the kaleidoscope Sharingan's pupil technique. It is said to be a divine technique that will inevitably kill you once you see it with your own eyes. If all the ninjas below the Joinin retreat, they can't play any role. Sarutobi Hizen commanded the crowd. Writing round eyes. Everyone turned their eyes to Uchiha, with a questioning look in their eyes, and even a trace of doubt. Uchiha's face darkened, and then he said, I have never seen this ninja. We don't have this person in our Uchiha family. Sarutobi Hizen took a deep look at Uchiha, and he was also very suspicious of Uchiha. Where's Danzo? He glanced at the audience and found that Danzo wasn't there. Hizen Sarutobi asked, and at the same time he felt a little bit in his heart. Could it be that Danzo really sent him? I'm here. Shimura Danzo stepped forward and looked at Uchiha, who was shrouded in yellow Suzu. A look of surprise flashed in his eyes, and then disappeared. No one noticed. Sarutobi Hizen nodded, and then said, take him first and then talk about it. In addition, hurry up and evacuate the civilians, and the civilians must not be harmed. Boom. A huge sword slashed, a deep ravine appeared on the ground, and several houses were destroyed. Hiruzen Sarutobi felt a cold sweat. He was just patronizing and giving orders, and he was almost killed by a knife. Stop talking about Sarutobi-sensei, hurry up and attack. Stop it first, then there are many lurkers. Countless big snakes bit towards Suzu. Tilde now Konoha can defeat Suzu. There are really few people. I'm afraid I'll have a headache this time. Xiangchen, who was hiding in the dark, laughed. This is also a fact. It is very difficult to break the mature body Suzu by storm, unless Hiruzen Sarutobi makes a full shot, or it will take time. Now Konoha's strength is really not strong. Sanin has not grown up yet, and now he is relying on Sarutobi Hizen, Danzo, and Hatake Tsukumo. The patriarchs of the other major families are all quasi-Kage or elite Joinin, and they can't help Suzu at all. Looking at it this way, Konoha is really a little weak. Xiangchen complained. I saw Suzu rushing into the crowd and slaughtering the quartet. In just a split second, 4 Joinin had died and more were injured. However, Uchiha is also not feeling well. There is a saying that more ants kill elephants, not to mention Uchiha is not an elephant. The combined use of ninjutsu is not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. With so many attacks, Suzu also has a gap. Although it can be repaired by chakra, the chakra consumed is too fast, and Uchiha can't hold on at all. Pupil is an illusory body. An identical Suzu appeared on the battlefield, making everyone in Konoha even more desperate. Everyone is working together. The enemy can't hold on anymore. Sarutobi Hizen shouted loudly. He had seen Uchiha shrouded in Suzu. Both eyes began to bleed, and he couldn't insist on it living. After Sarutobi Hizen shouted, other people saw it too, and immediately became excited. The strength in his hand increased again, and the ninjutsu was continuously released. Hey, although I know that I can't make a big storm, it's too much. Xianchen couldn't describe it, and he couldn't raise his head when he was beaten. That is, he just started to stand up. Just now, Xianchen thought that Konoha was going to have a headache, but now he was slapped in the face in an instant. It doesn't seem to be the super shadow level, and it is still impossible to ignore the advantage of the number of people. Even if there is Suzu, it is inevitable. But I don't agree to end it so soon. Xianchen laughed, and then the chakra in his body poured into Uchiha's body through the connection of Tensei. Suzu, who was grumbling at first, rose to prominence again. The two Suzus attacked frantically, as if being cut into wheat. They were hacked to death more than a dozen in a row. Sarutobi Hizen felt distressed, and hurriedly withdrew the Joinin. This Suzu was like a harvester, and chopping the Joinin was as simple as cutting vegetables. Spirituality ape demon. Without giving Saruman a chance to speak, Sarutobi Hizen turned it into a Vajra Ruai stick, and Sarutobi Hizen waved the Vajra Ruai stick, jumped up and smashed the stick on Suzu. Click. The sound of shattering sounded, and a spiderweb-like crack appeared on Suzu, as if it was about to shatter. Boom. The gigantic Suzu couldn't hold on any longer, and suddenly dispersed, and countless ninjutsu poured down towards the exposed Uchiha. Uchiha's pupils focused on the phantom body and switched bodies with the phantom body, avoiding the deadly attack, but the phantom body had been beaten to ashes. Let's capture it. Say your purpose, and maybe you can save your sins. Sarutobi Hizen said with an ugly face. In the battle just now, nearly 20 Joinin died, and 1 elite Joinin died and was seriously injured. Adding up the entire Konoha, including the hidden power of the major families, the Shangren will not exceed 500, which is even the elite Shangren in Zunying. So this time, although it wasn't really hurting Konoha, it definitely made Konoha's flesh hurt. Hey Amaterasu. Uchiha's eyes focused on an elite Jonin, burning all the black flames and swallowing the elite Jonin. When the ninja next to him saw it, he immediately released the water escape, trying to help him put out the flames, but instead of putting out the flames, the water flow made the fire even bigger, and even the water burned. This flame can't be extinguished. Use the sealing technique to seal it quickly. Hiruzen Sarutobi roared. Seeing the elite Jonin who had been burned to death, Hiruzen Sarutobi's heart hurt even more, and his eyes became colder. Ha ha ha. My Uchiha clan will live forever. Uchiha destroyed his eyes, then detonated the detonating charm on his body, and with a loud bang, it turned into pieces of meat all over the sky. Everyone's faces were extremely ugly. Although the enemy was dead, they felt even more uncomfortable. Patriarch Uchiha, I need an explanation. Sarutobi Hizen's voice was as cold as frost. Explain. I don't know anything myself. How can I explain that among the people who just died in the battle? Are there no members of my Uchiha family? Uchiha was also full of fire. Tsukumo, you lead Anbu to check it for me. I don't believe it. This Uchiha clan popped out of nowhere. Even if you rummage through Konoha, you will give me a result. This time Sarutobi Hizen is really hot. He blatantly attacked the Hokage building, and also caused Konoha's ninjas to suffer heavy casualties. There must be a result in this matter, or will he need his face? Yes. Hatake Tsukumo nodded. I hope all the families will cooperate. I think you are also curious about who the murderer who attacked Konoha is. Sarutobi Hizen also gave Patriarch Uchiha a special look. Chapter 49 Graduation. If there is anything in this world that is the most truthless, it is time, and time is passing fast like flowing water. In a blink of an eye, it was Xianchen's graduation season. It had been more than 4 years since what happened last time. Hatake Tsukumo led Anbu and rummaged through the entire Konoha, but did not find the Uchiha clan who attacked Hokage. This is also inevitable. That Uchiha is organized at the root. What is the root? Once it enters, there is no future and no past. Danzo has long since erased all the information of Uchiha. The Uchiha family doesn't even know about Uchiha, or there may have been one, but he is already dead in the records. This matter is so small and trivial, but Hiruzen Sarutobi still counts that incident on the head of the Uchiha family. It's been a while since Danzo was there, and nothing happened. Sun Xianchen didn't know about it these days, so it wouldn't be surprising even if he did. The basic relationship between Sarutobi Hizen and Shimura Danzo, that is to say, 3 days and 3 nights can't be finished, so Sarutobi Hizen would definitely not trouble Danzo. However, after what happened last time, Danzo was also honest and didn't bother Rick Xianchen again. Now Rick Xianchen is not afraid that Danzo will find trouble. Now it's different from before. If Danzo dares to come to him again, Rick Xianchen doesn't mind leveling the whole route. Now his strength, it is no exaggeration to say that there is no problem in picking a village alone, even if Madara Uchiha comes. It is also a proper hang. It's not that Rick Xianchen has swelled, but that he has swelled extremely. Even if the 6 paths are coming, he dares to wrestle with him. Alright, the above is purely bragging, but it is still possible to single out Konoha village by one person. Chakra of the tailed beast level, the physical technique of blowing up a hill with one punch, even the current Uchiha Madara dare not say that he can beat him steadily. This is the strength he has improved in the past few years, and it is even more abnormal than he imagined. When it comes to the quality and quantity of chakra, among the tailed beasts, only 9 tails can beat him, and even the 8-tailed bull ghost cannot compare to Rick Xianchen. Entire Rick Xianchen is definitely the strongest in the ninja world right now, there is no doubt about this. The ability of Tenseizen is now all available. It is worth mentioning that Rick Xianchen's Tenseigen chakra mode is not green, but blue, which is the same color as ordinary chakra, but the color is darker. That's fine, Rick Xianchen didn't want to be shrouded in forgiveness, and those who didn't know thought it was a green glow. In fact, Totoro Otsutsuki's Tenseigen chakra pattern is not green, but indigo. After entering the Tenseigen chakra mode, Rick Xianchen can briefly enter the 6th Tao level, which is a pseudo 6th Tao. So at this time, Rick Xianchen is not afraid of anyone at all. Even if the old man of 6 paths immortal comes out, Rick Xianchen is not afraid of him. Rick Xianchen's pupil technique, Gao Tanyuan, can be immune to all damage after activation, which is Rick Xianchen's confidence. Unlike Obito's Shenwei, Gao Tanyuan did not escape into space to avoid, but was immune to all damage. Even if Kaguya Otsutsuki swelled at Rick Xianchen to seek the Taoist Jade, Rick Xianchen would be fine. That's how perverted. The pupil technique is abnormal, and the consumption is naturally not small. With Rick Xianchen's huge pupil power plus chakra, it can only be turned on for 10 minutes at most. So now Rick Xianchen has swelled up and is not afraid of anyone. In fact, if you really fight with a 6-path level enemy, the loser is still Rick Xianchen. Although his ability is abnormal, his hard power is a little worse, unless Rick Xianchen can liberate Liu Ji and Rohuo. In the past few years, Rick Xianchen has also drawn 4 prizes, but I don't know if it is because the draw is like a fire, and then the luck runs out. Except for a kaleidoscope writing wheel evolution fluid, the rest are garbage. However, Rick Xianchen is also very satisfied. With this kaleidoscope writing wheel evolution fluid, Mikoto can open the eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel. This is worth 300,000 redemption points in the mall. If it wasn't for Rick Xianchen's draw this time, it would take more than 10 years before he could afford it. And in a few days, there will be another chance to draw a lottery, and I don't know if I can draw something good. In addition to the improvement of Rick Xianchen's strength, the strength of Mikoto and Kushina is also very terrifying. Mikoto has already opened the 3-hooked jade writing wheel, and her strength has reached the level of Shinin. Kushina is also the strength of Shinin, and even now Kushina is stronger than Mikoto. The 3 of them are definitely the strongest students in the ninja world. Today is the last day of Rick Xianchen and the others at school. Today is the graduation exam. Those who pass the exam will become real ninjas, and those who do not pass the exam will be repeated in the ninja school, or choose other professions, not a ninja. After Rick Xianchen, Mikoto, and Kushina came to the classroom together, Wainoshiri was already waiting here. Nodding to the teacher, the 3 returned to their seats. Wainoshiri did not speak, and his expression was a little unsightly, which made the class extremely silent. Wainoshiri didn't speak until after the arrival of class in year 5. I've been with you for 5 years, and it's time to say goodbye. Although I usually feel that you have a lot of headaches, but now that you are leaving, the teacher is really sad. Wainoshiri said, his eyes were a little red. Cut. The teacher is so old, and she still has to cry. I'm not ashamed, Shengshu said disdainfully. Nawaki, what did you stinky boy say? It's just because the wind is too strong, and the sand got into my eyes. I wish you would leave quickly, Wainoshiri said angrily. Don't worry, Waino-sensei, we will come to see you in the future. Minato Namikaze showed a warm and sunny smile. This time, Wainoshiri was silent, making the whole class quiet down, and Minato Namikaze thought that he had said something wrong. To be honest, in fact, I really think that all of you will not pass the exam, Wainoshiri said in a heavy tone. Just a few days ago, the country of fire and the country of rain started a war, and the country of wind and the country of soil also joined in. The 2 sides used the country of rain as the battlefield and began a small-scale trial. Graduating now is not a good thing for them, and maybe some people will die on the battlefield. Although Wainoshiri has never been on the battlefield, he has seen the tragic scenes of Konoha after the First Ninja World War. At that time, he was only 7 or 8 years old, and he watched the triumphant return, but a mournful Konoha, a ninja with a broken limb and a broken arm. So he didn't want his students to go through this kind of thing. Teacher, I know you don't want us, but you don't need to curse us for failing the assessment, Shang Shu said dissatisfied. Haha, it's the teacher who's wrong. Anyway, as long as you try your best. Wayne Oshiri scratched his head. Chapter 50 Guiding the Joinin Tsunade. The current graduation assessment is stricter than at the beginning of the plot, not only assessing the three-body technique, but also assessing the actual combat ability and basic theory. This is not difficult for the people in Class A. Not a single person in the entire class has been brushed down, and all of them have passed the assessment and become a real ninja. Seeing this scene, Wayne Oshiri smiled bitterly, and I don't know if it was luck or sadness. If placed in peacetime, Wayne Oshiri would definitely jump for joy. Now Wayne Oshiri just wants these students to live safely. After the assessment was over, he waited for the guidance of Joinin, and Wayne Oshiri left after finishing the class, and the whole class was in chaos. Chen, who do you think our teacher is? Duke Sinai asked softly, lying on Rick Xiangchen's back. I don't know how to know this. Rick Xiangchen and the three of them were divided into the same class, and they didn't know if it was intentional or just luck. It's so boring. Why don't you guess? Kushina said dissatisfied. I only know a few Joinin in total. That is Tsunade, Okaimaru, and Rijuru. How would I know who our leading teacher is? Maybe it's Tsunade-san, too, Mikoto interjected. It's a coincidence that we can be divided into the same class. How could it be that the teacher who leads the team is still Tsunade? She has never been a guide, isn't she? Rick Xiangchen complained slightly. Oh? You're very dissatisfied with me being your guide to Joinin? Tsunade pushed open the door and walked in. Sister, you are also the guide of Shangnan. Can you be the leader of the team? Shangshu looked at Tsunade suspiciously. What do you mean by Nawaki? Look down on your sister and me, and don't call me old sister. Do I look old? Tsunade was so angry that he raised his fist to beat him. Shangshu immediately confessed. He knew exactly how violent his sister was. Humphrey, come with me, the three of you. Tsunade walked out of the classroom after speaking. Xiangchen shrugged, and then said to Mikoto and Kushina, let's go. I didn't expect that Mikoto was right, and it was really Tsunade. Ha ha ha. Your guide is my elder sister, and I will wish you good luck here. Shangshu raised his head and laughed, looking at Rick Xiangchen and the three of them sympathetically. Touch. A stone flew from outside and instantly knocked the Nawaki to the ground. Shangshu, if you dare to talk nonsense again, go back and I'll make you look good. Tsunade's voice came from outside, causing all the classmates in the class to look at Shangshu with sympathy. TSK. Rinhun is not good. Let's go. Don't pay attention to this second hand. He followed Tsunade and stopped until he came to Konoha's training ground. We're so familiar, we don't need to introduce ourselves, but now we have to fight. I want to see your specific strength. Tsunade clenched his fist. Okay, I just want to see my own strength too. Sister Tsunade, you have to be careful. Kushina looked eager to try. Come on. Tsunade smiled slightly. Xiangchen might not be her opponent, but against the little girl Kushina, Tsunade felt relaxed. According to her own strength when she was 10 years old, Kushina would not surpass the special Shangin. She didn't think Kushina's talent was better than her own. This was Tsunade's confidence. But this time Tsunade was really wrong. Kushina was really stronger than her 10-year-old, and she was much stronger. Sealing technique, King Kong blockade. Under the control of Kushina, the 5 chakra chains waved towards Tsunade. The chains danced in the air with a breaking sound, and 4 chains blocked Tsunade's retreat, and the remaining one was like a whip, whipping towards Tsunade. Mikoto hastened to take action. I'm definitely not a match for Tsunade-san. Please don't help Chen. Kushina wanted to see if she and Mikoto could defeat Tsunade. Rick Xiangchen shrugged, then jumped up and jumped to the top of the big tree next to him to watch the play. Mikoto nodded, dressed in a ninja outfit, looking a little heroic. Why Wuxi Chen's ugly yin, fire escape, fire dragon flame bomb. Mikoto formed the seal very quickly, 5 seals per second, but in just over a second, the ninjutsu was released. Mikoto's ninjutsu and Kushina's chakra chains attacked Tsunade, completely blocking all the escape routes for Tsunade. Feeling the blazing flames and the chakra chains waving the afterimages of his debut, Tsunade put away his contempt, kicked out a vacuum slash, facing the chakra chain, then made a seal with both hands, and blocked Mikoto's fire dragon fire bullet with the water wall. Although Kushina's chakra chain was not broken, it was still knocked out. Next, Mikoto and Kushina cooperated. Kushina was in charge of control, and Mikoto was in charge of attacking with fire escape, sometimes mixed with illusion attacks, and actually suppressed Tsunade. Before the age of 10, I have already opened the Sangyu Jade writing wheel. Looking at the entire Uchiha family, no one can match it. Looking at Mikoto's Scarlet Sangyu Jade writing wheel, Tsunade praised. When he was less than 10 years old, he opened the 3-hook Jade writing wheel. This Tsunade has never heard of it. Mikoto's future achievements may be comparable to the legendary Uchiha Madara. Tsunade could see the power of the kaleidoscope shaker, and even she could hardly break Suzu's defense. If Mikoto opened the kaleidoscope over time, her teacher might not be an opponent. Okay, let's stop here. Tsunade stopped after seeing the strength of Mikoto and Kushina. Huh? Don't you continue? Kushina scratched her head, then put away the chakra chain. No, I just want to see your strength. Your strength is very strong. You are definitely the best talent I have ever seen. Even I can't compare. Tsunade praised. Without hesitation, Chen is much stronger than us. Mikoto smiled softly. He? Tsunade glanced at Xiangchen, who was sitting on the tree, and said, he is no longer a normal person. More than 4 years ago, Xiangchen could defeat himself. But now Tsunade doesn't know how strong Xiangchen is. However, she knew that the strength of her quasi-shadow was definitely not Xiangchen's opponent. Tsunade, are you praising me or mocking me? Xiangchen jumped down from the tree and said depressedly, ha tilde, you can understand it yourself. Tsunade turned his head. I don't have anything to teach you right now. You already have the strength. The rest is experience, but this requires your own understanding and experience, and I can't help you. Tsunade said with a wry smile. Her guidance on Joinin should be the easiest. There is no need to teach the disciples at all. Just carry out the tasks and accumulate experience. Thank for listening this audiobook. Please subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.